Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today's video is going to kick off my declutter series for 2017. In case you haven't seen any of my declutter videos, I will link the playlist in the description box below. But basically I just like to go through my collection. Since I do buy a lot of makeup and I receive a lot of makeup, it's definitely important that I go through and make sure that everything in my collection is something that I'm going to use and love. If not, if I'm not using it enough or if I don't like it anymore, I will pass it along to friends and family. I'll donate products, and then if the products are old or expired, I will get rid of them. So today's video is going to be a foundation declutter. So all of my foundations are in this container right here. I normally have them split into 2 containers, but I really want to downsize my collection to fit them all inside one and make sure the drawer can close. So that is my goal for today. I just want to get rid of colors that don't match me, products I'm not using, and old and expired products. So let's jump into it. So the first one is Urban Decay's Naked Skin. This is definitely my favorite lighter coverage foundation. I would say it's light to maybe medium. It's kind of like a buildable foundation, but definitely not more than medium. In general, I'm not a huge fan of foundations that aren't medium to full coverage, but it's nice to have one on hand, and this is definitely the one that I always reach for, especially during the summertime for like everyday wear. So I am going to hang on to this one. I wear the shade 1.0 in case you guys were interested, and I really like this one. I'm also going to be keeping Urban Decay's All-Nighter foundations. I have 1.0 and 1.5. This is my absolute favorite foundation of the moment. I've been using it for the last couple of months, and it's a really nice full coverage matte finish foundation. It is so much more full coverage than Urban Decay's Naked Skin. So if that's what you're looking for, I would definitely recommend it. I wear the shades, like I said, 1.0 and 1.5 if I'm a little bit darker, but 1.0 matches me the best because it does oxidize. I am going to go ahead and declutter the Revlon ColorStay Whipped Foundation. I have the shade number 200 Sand Beige. Honestly, I've had this in my collection for longer than I can remember, so it's definitely time to declutter it. I actually feel like this kind of smells like glue, and I don't remember it smelling like that in the past, so I'm sure it's expired at this point. I can't remember if I liked it. I remember that it was a really nice medium to full coverage foundation, but it's been a while since I used it. So if you guys still like this, you'll have to let me know in the comments below. So I do have the E.L.F. foundation palette. To be honest with you guys, I don't use this for a few different reasons. I just feel like I prefer foundation in different packaging. I'm going to declutter it. I'm actually going to save it because I want to do a video comparing the different E.L.F. foundations, but after that I'm going to declutter it. So I am going to put it in my declutter pile and pass it along to somebody else. So I am not a BB cream or CC cream fan. The only one that I will use is the IT Cosmetics CC Plus. This is one of my favorite products, and I love using it during the summertime especially. It has an SPF of 50, which is awesome if you're going to be spending a lot of time out in the sun, but I like it for just light coverage days. That being said, it is like a medium coverage, even almost like full coverage CC cream, which I never find. So I am a huge fan of this. I definitely recommend it. I have 2 shades. I do have fair and light, but I actually like to mix them. So I am going to hang on to these. After this summer, they need to go though, because I've had them for a while. So I'm going to try to finish them up this summer. I actually did really like the Pond's Luminous Finish BB Plus. If you need a little bit less coverage, then this is definitely a good option, but I've had this for a very long time. I want to say almost 3 years, so it is time to get rid of this because I just don't reach for it, and at this point I'm sure it's expired. So I love Buxom products, especially their lip products. I really wanted to like this foundation, but it's just way too light coverage. It is like the lightest coverage foundation that I've really tried in a long time, so unfortunately I don't think I'm going to end up wearing it. I really only tried it out once. I kept thinking I would come back to it, but I haven't yet, so I'm going to pass both of these along to somebody else. I have the shades Tickle the Ivory and Fair Game, just for reference in case you guys were wondering. So I completely forgot about this foundation. This is supposed to be like a full coverage hydrating foundation, which now that my skin is kind of like combination, at least during the winter time, I feel like it might work for me. Let me swatch it really quick. So it's actually really hydrating, really nice. It seems like it is full coverage because that is only 1 drop of the foundation, but unfortunately this color light is definitely going to be too dark for me, so I have to pass it along to somebody else even though I love it. I think it would be amazing, I just don't think it's going to match my skin. I just talked about these Isdinceutics skin drops in a video not too long ago. These are too dark for me, but they are just too good of a formula to get rid of. I hope that they will match me in the summertime because they are like a full coverage drop foundation with a really beautiful matte finish. These are so pigmented. They're like pigmented drops, and I heard they're coming out with additional shades, so I can't wait. In the meantime, I am going to hang on to this one and hope that it matches me during the summertime. Okay, you guys, I think the time has come for me to finally part with the Too Faced Born This Way foundations. So I have 3 of them. I have Porcelain, Ivory, and Vanilla, and I had talked about this on Snapchat. I have tried so many times to like this foundation, but I cannot like it. I feel like it just doesn't provide me with enough coverage, at least what I'm looking for. I would say it's probably more like a medium coverage foundation, but it just doesn't look good on my oily skin. By the end of the day, my skin is looking so super oily when I'm wearing it. I feel like it's just one of those products that is so hyped up, and I know a lot of people love it, but I feel like that's why I want to like it, because everybody loves it, and it just doesn't work for me. So I've decluttered all of the other shades. I'm going to pass these 3 along to somebody else as well, just because they don't work for me. Okay, I am going to hang on to my Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I do have 2 different shades, so let me swatch them and see if they both match me right now. Okay, so I have 112 Natural Ivory and 122 Creamy Beige. 112 is the shade that I wear right now, and 122 is way too dark. I can't even foresee that really matching me in the summertime. So I think I am going to declutter 122. I feel like even if it does match me, I'll repurchase it because I have had this one for a little while, but I am going to hang on to 112. I love this foundation. I have a full review, so I'll link it in the description box below if you want to check it out, but it's a great option if you have oily skin and you're just looking for a nice medium to full coverage foundation from the drugstore. I am going to hang on to the Revlon ColorStay foundations. I have both of the formulas, the one for oily skin and the one for dry skin, and I feel like I like both of them. They are in my everyday makeup drawer right now because I'm kind of playing around with them, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I still like them. I haven't really gotten the chance to use them very much, so I still have to decide, but in the meantime, I am going to hang on to them. So I'm going to count these little samples as one foundation because they're kind of like, I mean, they're smaller than one foundation. They're foundation samples, but I am going to count them as one. I really like these, but this shade is too yellow for me. I do want to try it in a shade that's going to match me. So I don't know. I used it like last year and I feel like it was just a beautiful finish, but I haven't really played around with it since then. So if you guys do like this, you'll have to let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, I'm going to declutter these. Okay, so I'm getting down to the bottom. I have the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous foundation in the shade 105. I do really like this, but it's been a long time since I used it. So I'm going to swatch it and see if I still am kind of into that formula. I do think I'm going to hang on to this one. I remember really liking the formula, so I'm going to make sure I try to use it and decide whether or not I still like it before I declutter it. Same with this one from L'Oreal. It has been forever since I've used it, but I do remember really liking it, so I'm going to make sure I try it out before I decide to declutter it or not. So I have 3 of the CoverGirl 3-in-1 foundations. This was my favorite for years and years. I definitely still think I like it. It's just been a while since I've used it. I have the shade 832, which I have no idea why because there's no way that matches me, and I'm almost positive it won't match me this summer either. So I am going to go ahead and declutter this one. Then I have 2 of 810. This one is almost empty and I've had it for a while, so I am going to toss this one and hang on to this one because it is almost brand new. So I have the E.L.F. Acne Fighting Foundation in 2 different shades, the E.L.F. Flawless Finish Foundation and the Moisturizing Foundation Stick. I am keeping all 4 of these because, like I said, I am planning on doing a video on E.L.F. foundations, but I think after that I'm going to declutter one of these shades, whichever one doesn't match me, and I will hang on to the other 2. So technically I am keeping 3 of these. I am going to declutter one of them after I film that video, so stay tuned for that video because I definitely have a lot of thoughts on all of these foundations. I loved this Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation, but I thought it made my skin break out so bad, so I haven't really had the courage to try it out again. I do feel like my skin has been pretty good lately, so I think I'm going to give it another shot because the finish was so beautiful. It was really full coverage, really just gorgeous on the skin, so I can't wait to try it again before I decide whether or not to declutter it. If it does make my skin break out, I will keep you guys posted, but in the meantime, I am going to hang on to it. And the last thing that I have are some of my Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundations. I know this looks so ridiculous. I didn't purchase any of these. I actually redeemed my Ipsy points for them because they had so many of them available on the website and I wasn't sure which shade was going to match me, and then I figured whichever ones didn't match me I could pass along to family and friends. So as you guys can see, I never ended up passing any of them along. This is the one that I currently use. This one is in the shade Vanilla. This is my absolute second favorite foundation. My first favorite is the All Nighter. This one is my second favorite because it's really hydrating, so full coverage. It's so beautiful on the skin. If you haven't watched a tutorial using this, I definitely recommend it. I'll try to use it in an upcoming Get Ready With Me so you guys can see how much I love it. So I'm probably not going to get rid of all of these because it is an expensive foundation, so if I can make these other shades work for me, I'm definitely going to do it. Let me just swatch them and decide which ones to keep. Okay, so I have Vanilla, Linen, Ivory, Porcelain, and Alabaster. Vanilla is the shade that I wear, so I'm going to hang on to the first one. I'm going to declutter the second one because it is way too yellow. The third, fourth, and fifth are too dark or too light, but I'm going to mix them and make them work because I love this foundation so much. I know it seems dumb to hang on to shades that don't match since it is a declutter video, but I love this foundation so much. I'm almost out of the one that I have, and I don't really want to repurchase it if I have other shades that I can kind of make work for me. So then I have Bisque, which is way too yellow, and Warm Ivory, which is way too dark, so I am going to declutter those as well. So I only hung on to 4 of them. I am decluttering 3 of them, which is fine with me. It'll be really nice to pass them along to somebody else because they are basically brand new. So here's a quick look at the foundations that I'm decluttering. I'm pretty happy with the progress because I feel like I'll be able to fit all of the other foundations really nicely into this tray. And here's a look at the 21 foundations I am hanging on to. Actually, one of them will be decluttered once I film that e.l.f. video, and then I think there was a second one. There was like 1 or 2 that I have to try. So I did declutter about half, which I think is awesome. I am so happy they fit in this tray now, and I like having foundations in my collection I know I'm going to use. That way I don't have to hunt through all of the other products that you aren't going to use. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.